Hello everyone and welcome to Mine Mogul. Today we are going to attempt to make $1 billion while being trapped underground in a mine. I will admit I have played this game before, but I figured I'm going to run a completely fresh save, and I've got a very lofty goal in mind for the very end of this series, so stick around for that. All right, here we are heading down into the dark abyss. We got our little computer stand here. We got our hard hat for safety, of course, that we're not ever going to be using. And we have our lantern that we can pick up, I believe. And we can come over here to pick up our pickaxe. And we can begin mining this iron ore vein, as we see here, because we need to deposit iron ore into this hopper over here. This hopper is what takes up the ore to the surface, and we, in turn, receive money. So let's go ahead and check that out here. What am I going to get for this single piece of iron ore? $4.03. And there's one of 5 pieces. I wonder are these all the same? Am I going to get another $4.03? No. So depending, I assume, the size of the ore, or it might just be random, you get different amounts of money. Oh, there was a 3. So I guess the amount of pieces from each node is random too. We have completed our first quest, and I think we open up our quest list by hitting T. That is correct. So we've completed the pickaxe, picking it up, and we unlocked our magnet, our ore magnet, by depositing our iron ore. And we will purchase that thing, and that should drop down to us right here. Cool. And so now what this is going to do is this is going to allow us to pick up a big bundle of ore at a time. Instead of doing a bunch of individual pieces like we have here, we can actually just right click and we can pick up everything that's on the ground and kind of have it levitate. According to our quest, which I'm not going to say that, maintain innocence here on the interwebs, we need more iron ore and coal ore. And so let's just do these right here. This is really easy to go and brush along here to pick up as much as we can. This should get us somewhat close, I would think. And there's some more coal over there, it looks like. Okay, we're not even close. Never mind. I lied. And there we go. That completes our next quest. So now we need to purchase an auto miner, which is what we will use to automatically mine the resource nodes around the map. And as you can see here, it also produces gems. So we're going to buy a single one of those. We do happen to have enough money. According to our 2 quests, for Master of Coal and Automatic Machine, we need 50 iron ore and 100 coal ore. And that's going to give us an ore crusher, ore analyzer, and a hammer. I, of course, could go around and do this by hand. I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. That's going to be a lot of work. I would just much rather automate this stuff. That's the point of this game. But right now, I'm going to put this one right here because it's fairly close to our deposit location. The possible resources that we can get from this spot: iron ore as 94%, crushed iron, emerald gem, and diamond gem. Now, actually, I might rethink this because I think this spot might be a little better because this one actually produces the same amount of iron ore and coal ore. It doesn't produce emeralds, but I think I'm actually going to do this over here. So I'm going to take this coal out of the way, and I am going to drop these in along with all the iron that I already mined. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to wait and see. I'm going to try and just do it by hand because I don't want to get things set up too far in advance where I'm going to have to keep taking stuff down. Instead, I think I'm just going to clear out this entire spot. There should be quite a bit of coal in here. I should be able to hit the iron target for our quest up there. The coal is going to be a little bit harder to hit, so I might just have to open up a coal ore. All right, well, looks like we're going to have to put up an auto miner anyway. So I guess we'll just throw this one up here because it'll give us everything. And I probably should have kept that running. We're going to need quite a bit of coal. We should have enough money to actually automate the transportation of these pieces of ore over to our drop point here. Or I could just buy another. What's an auto miner? Is an auto miner $500? Yes, an auto miner is 500. Well, let's see what we got here because this is 200. We can knock that out of the way, and then we need to deposit crushed iron. That's going to give us a blast furnace. That's a lot of crushed iron, though. Since this one's just iron, and I'm looking for crushed iron, I think this iron node can go straight into an ore crusher that I just purchased. And so then what we'll do is we'll just set this up here. So now we need to make $500. We need to wait a little bit. You know what? I'm going to move this. I've already moved it twice already, or I've already moved it once. Let's put this here, and let's begin our quest for the crushed iron. Then we can get the coal in a little bit, but let's buy some conveyors here. Just need, I think, 1 curved conveyor, 10 straight conveyors, I guess. Upwards conveyors too. I need a couple of those. Hopefully I have those unlocked. Do I have those unlocked at this point? Sloped conveyor, I do. And if we put a straight conveyor right here, boom. And if we just load this up here, make sure all that stays on, we're being efficient. This should crush. Beautiful. Beautiful. And now we just need to hang out for a little bit. We need to make $500 so we can buy another. We are able to purchase our next auto miner. And here, I think we'll just let this run for a little while. We need regular coal ore. All right, so now let's actually take a look at our quest screen. And we have another quest available, which is called Scavenger Hunt. And this is depositing copper ore and depositing gold ore and depositing a broken drill bit. So we need to activate this quest. And thankfully it pops up in the top left for us. Now I'm going to show you all, it's still here, but there's a little secret right here. These drawers are actually interactable. And look at this. A gold bar. Gold bar for us, an unpolished gold bar. Now, with that said, we can't actually do anything with that yet, so we're going to leave that in there. I thought there was a broken drill bit in there, because that's what we actually need, is a broken drill bit for that quest. But the other stuff can be found over here. We have some copper ore that will hand mine again. And for this scavenger hunt quest, we're going to receive 2 research tickets, which help us unlock further tech, pieces of equipment, conveyors, etc. And that's going to be very important when we're getting into the higher levels of automation. There's a lot of different products that you can make from these ore types. And I remember I also saw some copper ore over here, and if we take a look down here, there's some more iron ore. That is a broken drill bit that we need. Let's take that over there. So obviously, as I'm sitting here in this main area off to the side here, we found our first broken drill bit. So we can drop that in. And this should give us that portion of the quest completed. Let's see what else is down this here. We've got some iron ore, some more coal here, and we have this thing here. Look at this. Big wall in our way, but we luckily have all this dynamite that we can interact. We have another broken drill bit that I'm going to just leave there for now, but this right here, is a very important piece of the future that we're going to have. This is a diamond node, I guess. Diamond piece that if we were to break this up with our pickaxe, diamonds would pop out. We're going to hold off on that for now. And I'm just going to make sure that we can get our gold and copper ore taken care of. By dropping these back over here, that should give us all the copper ore that we need. We just got to find gold ore now. Let's go ahead and head this way, because there's another opening over here. And here we have found what we're looking for. 3 chunks of gold, I should say, and then a gold ore node. Let's go ahead and mine these up, and we'll take these back. Hopefully we get 8 out of these 3. I'm gonna mine a few more of these coal chunks, just to give us a little bit more. And as you see, there's some more diamond chunks. There's some more gold chunks over here. Where was I? As you can see, there's a big area here with a lot of new nodes that we can mine at some point. But as of right now, trying to stay in that first area until we need to start expanding out. So that should give us our 8 pieces of gold, and we're too short. Fantastic. I'll be right back. There. That should give us our completed quest. But let's go ahead and check our quest. And we can research something now. Quests provide us with things called research tickets. And we can use those to unlock additional items that we can use at some point, unless all the machines are automatically unlocked. And if you just heard that sound of like glass breaking, that means that we are producing gems. As you can see here, we have a 0.5% producing an emerald gem and a 0.3% chance of producing a diamond gem. When a gem goes into a crusher like this, it gets broken. We'll worry about that in a second. Just hold on, Anyways, back to our research tab. So, there's a lot of different stuff that we can buy, or at least unlock to begin with. I think we're going to start with the sorter basket lid. As I just mentioned, we have our gems that are getting crushed. So we have to have a way to split them out before they get to this crusher location. For our conveyors, we have something called a sorter conveyor. That's why I unlocked the sorter basket lid, because this is a toggleable lid for keeping your sorter items that you want to sort out in the basket, so that when you use your ore magnet, you don't actually take them out of the basket. So we're going to get 1 of each, and we're going to start sorting out those gems. Here's how this thing works. Goes in through this area, is going to be pushed out the the direct opposite side, unless you place something in the basket. And whatever you place in the basket is what's going to be kicked out the side here. We need to put a diamond and an emerald in here, because in this node, emerald and diamond gems can be produced. And, oh, what do you know? Where did we find a diamond chunk? But over here. So we're going to put that. And look at that. We got 3 diamonds to come out of that. And we'll also take our broken drill bit back with us, too. We'll just stack that up by our computer in there, in one of those drawers, and we'll hold on to that because we will need more of those later. I'm gonna run this back over here, so at the very least, we are going to be sorting out our diamonds, and then we'll have to keep watch for an emerald here. But we can place our sorter basket lid on top, and then if we interact with it, we can toggle it shut so that we can't actually take anything out of that basket once we put it in there and close the lid. And if you noticed, we've actually completed our crushed iron quest, meaning we can now purchase a blast furnace, and that's what actually we want to do. So $400 blast furnace comes to us, and now we need to essentially create iron ingots and copper ingots. And then eventually I think we're going to have to kind of redesign things because we need to split things out. Let's go ahead, and the way to stop all of our miners altogether is we can go in here to the pause menu and turn off all of our auto miners. If you want to turn individual ones on, you can just interact with them and turn on, turn off, etc. I'm just going to make sure everything is sold here on the ground, and then we're going to have to develop a sorting system. And obviously if we take that, we have to be careful because everything that we have is going to fall out. So I'm going to take this diamond, and if you notice, we need 3 diamond gems for gem collector. I'm just going to throw these in here right now because I have another 2 over here from that diamond chunk, and we'll at least have a use for those. They don't say unpolished, but they are unpolished gems. They're just like regular diamond gems. We'll have to worry about polishing them later. And as you see, that's what we're actually going to unlock with the gem collector quest, is the polishing machine. We want to make sure that we're splitting apart our copper and iron that we are producing along with the coal. So is what I'm going to need is I'm going to need some more sorting conveyors, and if my math is correct, I'm going to need 3 sorting conveyors, and then I'm going to need some more sloped conveyors. It's going to be a total of 6, so I have 2 already, and then I'm also going to need some additional machines. Another blast furnace. I'm going to do another ore crusher just for simplicity. We just have enough money for that as all these boxes come raining down on us from above. We can turn on our auto miners, and let's check it out. Our first piece of coal has come through, and that's what we actually want to pass through. And now is what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this iron right here to be sorted out, and we should see the iron come up here. Very nice. There we go, and that gets broken down. And we should see over here this first one be producing iron, and that should produce iron ingots that'll drop directly into here, and we'll see our quest tracker start to tick up. I'm going to throw on one of these top pieces. I'll put that one on there for now, but we also need copper. This is where I can actually use my conveyor ledge to dump our stuff onto this one. And I'm going to need more, so I need money. Money, money, money. Good news is, though, we can just keep this as it is, and you'll see here, we're selling iron ingots now. Very cool, very cool. Here, we can actually put these on, and I'm going to need one of these because we have to sort out our copper. You remember, we already did the iron, but we need to make sure that we're sorting out our copper too. And so this copper piece right here should be sorted out on this track. Yes, okay. Perfect. Now we just have to connect up to this copper node. Oh, we also need an auto miner. We're already up to 13 iron ingots. It looks like we're producing them at a pretty good pace. At some point, we're going to be bottlenecked with a single smelter, single blast furnace, but we don't need to worry about that at this point. Simple is better at the very beginning, and trust me, it's going to get a lot more complicated later on, believe me. And then we put these straight over to our auto miner, And now we just have to save up $500. And there we go, another $500 for our next auto miner. Another auto miner has been obtained. And this one is going to be producing a lot of coal. We're also going to be producing some copper. The amount of coal ore that we'll need to be producing is actually a good thing, because we have one quest available, and that is Coal Crusher, where we need 1,200 crushed coal, and it gives us one research ticket. Now, we obviously need to modify our setup here a bit, because we have the coal bypassing our smelters here, but we actually need to crush that coal now, and we'll need another sorter, because, well, actually we already have a sorter right here. I want to drop that coal directly in, so I need to put that here. I need to buy a ore crusher, so I need $200 for an ore crusher, which I should get shortly. There we go, and so now let's set that up. This should be able to drop ore directly. I need to kind of do that for a second here, hold on. I should be able to drop this directly there, and then we'll have to take these all out of the way. We're just gonna have a huge pile up right down here. That didn't even go in. Fantastic, fantastic. I need sloped conveyors, so I have to bring those up in the air again. I just need 2 to get it up to the level I want. And we go right here, like this, 1, 2. And then we're going to split all of the gems off onto another conveyor for us. And so then is what we should see is all of this goes through. Goes up on there, and then gets crushed. And it provides us with crushed coal. Now, we just need to keep an eye out for our gems, because we have to make sure that we sort out the gems instead of crushing them, because they'll still end up in the crusher over there if we don't get them sorted out. So that might take a while, but we're also going to need some money, so I'm kind of cool with just letting this run. As you see, we're producing iron at a way more faster pace than we are copper. So once I hit 500 here, I might open up another one of these nodes. I don't think any of these will produce copper, so I don't know if I want to do that. Oh, there's a diamond right there. Hold up. Diamond, 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 diamond. Thank you. You're going to go in there. Now we're just waiting on an emerald. In the meantime, I'm just going to put a conveyor belt over here to spit out any diamonds that we have, so it's automatically pushing them in. There's an emerald right there. Look at that. Beautiful timing. The emeralds are absolutely huge in this game, so we're going to go ahead and put this in the top here once I open up that. Put this in the top here, and that means we should naturally achieve that gem collector quest without having to watch it. Meaning we can expand onto bigger and better things. So let's start by figuring out what we want to do with the rest of these nodes in here. Because there's quite a few nodes. I need a auto miner in my inventory to actually see what they produce. And let's take a look at what we've got in here. Now we've got iron ore, pure iron, iron and coal, pure coal, and an iron and coal. Let's go down here, because I believe this was a copper location over here. And yes, indeed, I believe, yes, these are copper ore. That's an iron. But this one here's a copper, 91% copper. This one's 92% copper. But there's a long way to get back to our main conveyor belt. So let's go ahead and mine all of these chunks out of here first, so I don't have to worry about working around these. You can actually get emeralds from mining chunks too. I didn't know that. And up here, look what I found. There's a little diamond that we'll take back with us. We'll be able to sell. And now I want to make sure that I've got all the chunks out of here. It looks like there's a chunk up there, and hopefully I can make it all the way over. And look at this. We found some more diamonds. It is a small little passageway. Look at this. Come all the way back in here, and I don't know what those are. Mine those? No. Well, we can't mine those. We have 2 broken drill bits and an emerald, it looks like. Is that it? I don't know why we can't mine these. Those look like some fancy, a mix between diamonds and emeralds. Like a mixture of the 2 colors. But let's take all this stuff back, and the rest of this can just go right on this conveyor belt here. I am afraid of overloading those sorters, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. Yep, so it is going to back up a little bit. So you can overflow those sorters. We will have to wait until we get the vertical sorters. The vertical sorters will help us out quite a bit. Our gem sorters are going good. This is our emerald gem that we're going to be contributing to our gem collector quest. Boom. Now we have another quest available. I'm going to see what that one is quick. And this is red gem. So this is, we unlock the shaker table in the research tree, and we deposit a ruby gem. Ah, I see. I have to actually use a research ticket and pay $200 to unlock that shaker table. So we can do that now. We're going to be making iron plates, and then that's like a whole, that's, well, I guess that's the main quest line. We have a whole, like, side quest line here of polishing our gems. I think that's where we go now, because we'll need money, and that's probably the best way to get money is to do gems. Have to kind of revamp this setup here in a second. There's one of these over here, coal. One of these is coal-based, mainly coal. Isn't one of these just coal? Hello, hello. Right there. Okay, I'm going to put that on there, and we're going to buy conveyors to just kind of supercharge our coal production. We're still going to need about 700 crushed coal. So we're going to have to revamp stuff to get our ruby gems with the shaker table. And so I'd rather just do all of that at once instead of doing it 2 or 3 different times. And once we throw these pieces up on this conveyor, everything's taken care of. We should be producing coal at a little bit faster rate. Or I should say crushed coal is what we'll be producing at a little bit faster rate. We are now in business for that. And look at that. We have $2,000, enough to purchase our polishing machine. Here should be our first copper ingot. That, we drop that in here. And let's head over here quick and watch this be polished. Very nice. And boom. There we go, polished ingot. We need to put in these too. These crushed pieces, because we can produce crushed pieces in the auto miners. So, obviously, in the name of efficiency, we want to make sure we're including those. Then we can toggle these shut. And we're set for everything that we have right now. At this point, we're just waiting because we need polished gems to come through, which are just going to come naturally over time. You know what? In the meantime, I think I should just keep adding auto miners to this because we're going to need money eventually. We're always going to need money. So it's probably a good thing to just keep adding auto miners to our setup. And let's just send this one straight over this way. There's 3 here. Do I want to wait and, like, connect? I'm going to wait and connect all of these together. This one, I guess, can just go straight this way. Looks like we need to go down. And then we do our ledge. And then, there we go. We put this one here. That's going to spit onto there. That's got iron and coal coming out of it. I believe the other 2 are just iron. This one is just iron, and this one's just iron. So now we should be producing at a faster rate. We still are short on copper, but we'll worry about that later. And we are getting close to completing our crushed coal quest. Here we go. Coal crusher was the last portion of that, but we're good there. Polished gold. Okay, now we need to produce polished gold ingots. So we're going to actually need to add gold. Everything for copper we've just been producing out of this one single auto miner over here. So now we need gold, which, if we remember, was all the way over here. So we can actually load it into this conveyor from, I believe it's right around this corner here. But we will need to add another smelter then. And our current setup is not set up for gold in addition to everything else. We'll have to revamp this a little bit, but I'm going to need a lot more money. So I'm probably just going to let this run for a little while. And then it can be crushed, sent back up here, and pushed into here. And since we're not going to put an ingot in here, the ingots are going to go all the way through straight to the polisher, and that's going to give us our polished gold ingots. Fantastic. We're going to need to invest into conveyors. I'm just going to buy, did I buy ledges already? Yeah, I'll just buy another 10. Screw it. I've got the money. I've got the money, homie. Now let's build this backwards. We should be able to just go straight down there. Building backwards like this, and do we have to go down a level? Yes, we do have to go down a level. So let's move these down like this. That is wonderful. Let's get all this stuff on. I want to try and, like, spread this out. I'm not going to put all this on at once. So yeah, we'll have to get conveyor belts that have larger walls. Hopefully this will be able to keep up, at least until we're able to get our polished gold ingots done. Then once that's completed, we'll do a full system revamp. Now here we should be able to hit $3,500 very shortly. And now remember, we need to get these big pieces of coal. So I should be able to just drop this. And if I go like here, place this here, that should do it, right? There we go. There it is. Our first ruby. All right, so now we've got everything set up. Should be good. We should be making polished diamonds, polished emeralds still. We're making gold ingots, and we're now producing rubies. This is what I'm waiting for, is the vertical bulk sorter. So this here is you put everything in the top, and it's got 2 sorter baskets on it. And then you can put whatever in this sorter basket that you want to come out this chute. And then whatever in this basket to come out this chute, and then everything else is the bypass through. So this is actually like a 1 to 3 versus a 1 to 2 like those baskets are, and this is a hell of a lot faster. This is so much faster than doing that individual one where you hear like the ticking. This, it just flows through like a solid stream, so we'll need to invest in this at some point. What's going to be the most useful though? I think the walled conveyors for sure. Eventually we're going to come to the point where that's, you know, difficult to control the large amount of ore that we're going to be producing for pushing everything into a single conveyor. Yeah, let's do our auto miner. We'll unlock that. I'm actually going to clean up this hallway because we want to connect that copper at some point. Let's just dig all this stuff out. Let's get all this stuff in here taken care of. It's really dark without lights. There was a hidden emerald in this cart. Oh, we already got our rubies. I didn't even realize that. We got our rubies done. Yeah, we already did our rubies. That just gave us 2 research tickets. So now we're just waiting on the polished diamonds and polished emeralds. And then we'll need to do polished rubies again. Oh my god, this is... So we just did 2,000 of copper, iron, gold. And then we need to do an additional 5,000. And we need to do these 2,000 before we do these 5,000. And then 20,000 coal ore after we do 5,000 and then 10,000 crushed. And then 1,000 polished diamond gems, 1,000 polished emeralds, and 500 polished rubies to be the ultimate mine mogul. We're gonna need a better setup. I've been working just to try and get some of this done. And there's obviously something that's going on with this. Somehow we're getting like contamination or something. I'm getting a beeping noise coming from that polisher whenever there's a contamination that occurs, and I don't know where it's coming from. Because everything that's going in there should be all things that can be polished. Oh, look at that. There's our last emerald. There's our 10th emerald for polished gems 2. With that said, we're going to have to revamp this entire thing because, as we've already pointed out, we have a lot more products that we're going to have to make, and that's going to require a revamp of this footprint. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end of this episode. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below if you want to see more. And as you've seen, we've got a long way to go before we become a mine mogul. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.